Fortnite exploded in popularity, gaining 30 million players in December of 2017, before reaching a major high of 650 million players in 2023. Fortnite's rise was just like a viral TikTok dance. 1 minute, it's just a quirky move on a really weird video. The next, it's got the whole world flossing in sync. However, Fortnite's popularity wasn't just a passing fad, and it almost seems embedded in culture, at least for the younger generations. I expect Fortnite fans to already start telling me I'm dumb in the comments, but in this video I'm going to break down what I believe made Fortnite popular and why I believe Wildgate could capture some of that same magic and maybe dethrone Fortnite as the most popular game on the planet. Before I proceed, please like the video and subscribe if you enjoy this sort of analysis. Now, the story begins in 2018 when PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds came onto the scene and broke every Steam record, hitting over 3 million players concurrently. This leveraged the popularity of the Battle Royale genre, already popularized from DayZ and H1Z1 and even the Minecraft Hunger Games modes. And seeing this, Fortnite brilliantly pivoted to a Battle Royale shortly after releasing, not without innovating, however. Not only was Fortnite faster paced, had some fun mechanics and great art direction, but it was way easier to pick up and play without any prior knowledge of both Fortnite and Battle Royales in general. Fortnite saw incredible success in a way no other game could keep up with due to three main factors. Firstly, it was widely accessible in terms of gameplay. The idea of seeing a glowing pink gun, picking it up and shooting opponents was obvious. Pink is better than green. We learned that from the Hearthstone days. Everything from their UI, tutorials, general game simplicity was and is still unparalleled in the gaming industry. A good example is that in PUBG there are 50 weapons available to find in the game. However, although Fortnite adds new weapons every so often, they also remove just as many, keeping it at sub 30 weapons at any given time. This makes it easy for newcomers to join in the fray and doesn't give them too much overload of information when they just want to pick up the game and try it out. Secondly, Fortnite was accessible in terms of platform. Not only could any sort of PC hardware run the game easily and with high performance, a strong feat shared with League of Legends, but Fortnite quickly ported the game to mobile, iPad, consoles, and you could probably run it on a toaster if you had a Raspberry Pi on you. Now, there are many cross-platform games, but there's nothing on the same level as Fortnite. Given the younger generations don't really play on PC so much, and they're obsessed with iPads, and rarely have the latest generation console, this gave Fortnite a serious competitive edge over everyone else. But the most important component that I want to touch on mostly today is the skill cap. In a game like PUBG, Off the Grid, Warzone, or Apex Legends, the top 4 battle royales at the moment, it can be incredibly difficult for the casual audience to engage since the skill ceiling is really high. Good players will stomp you over and over again. Now, this is a really difficult balance to find because you want a high skill cap so that it's more engaging. However, casual players make up more than 90% of a typical player base and tend to be the lifeblood of the long-term success of any sort of video game. For the first few years in Fortnite, until everyone got way too good at the building crap, this wasn't a problem. Due to the art style, simplicity, and accessibility, players in Fortnite didn't feel like they were outmatched. The other thing is the way it's structured with movement, shield potions, destructible terrain, and more, it always feels like you have an option, no matter what. In PUBG, if you're out of position, it's basically game over. In Apex Legends, if you don't get top tier gear, you are probably dead. And in Warzone, if you aren't clean enough with the movement mechanics, you might as well just quit playing the game. And when people have just started to figure out the Fortnite mechanics, gameplay, and everything else, they go and revamp and revitalize the entire thing, keeping it fresh, but also keeping it accessible to everyone who has never played Fortnite before. I know the title says that Wildgate is the new Fortnite killer, but I really mean to say that I believe Wildgate can become equally as popular, although I expect both of them to remain staples for the next decade in the video game industry. Now, the first thing that jumps out to me in Wildgate is the art style and the lower poly meshes they are clearly using for the game's development. Not enough game studios are leveraging this in the modern age. This will be another game that is accessible not just in terms of gameplay, but hardware as well, which is the baseline minimum for success in gaming nowadays. Not only that, but in the same way Fortnite gained popularity through its social elements, Wildgate is turning that up to 11 in a fun and dynamic gameplay setting. For anyone unaware, Wildgate is an extraction shooter where a handful of teams enter a spacefaring arena trying to get the artifact and then escape the environment. You'll enter the game in a team of 4 in a procedurally generated space environment with all sorts of things to accomplish. You'll need to find resources for the ship, acquire weapons and ship upgrades, scout around to ensure you don't get killed, and defeat other players if they get in your way. On the surface, this sounds more complex than Fortnite, but it really isn't. It's simply more engaging, dynamic, and replayable to a level unheard of in the entire shooter genre. For example, in PUBG you might walk into a building and see 5 weapons inside, but you have no idea which one to pick up as a newcomer. In Wildgate and Fortnite, expect them to be color-coded to their power, and if you want more strength, grab a gun, more defense, grab a shield. Very, very simple. It's just that there are lots of these simple mechanics added into the game. Although there are many facets to the gameplay, it's clear from the overview trailer that each of them will remain extremely simple. Not only that, but the craziness of the genuine cooperative teamwork presented in the game will enable a level of virality not quite achievable in a game like Fortnite or other typical battle royales that are mostly independent as a genre. We've seen cooperative games go viral on Twitch constantly, with prime examples of Palworld and the Chained Together one, and much more. The other thing to consider is that in a world with such little innovation on game design, it tends to perform really well when you do so. The building in Fortnite, the reimagining of survival with Palworld, and the unique level design of Only Up as really great examples of this. For the first time in 5 years, someone is trying an out-of-the-box approach when it comes to the Battle Royale genre. It is the first game set in space, with a joint vessel for you and your entire crew, procedurally generated maps, and a clear joint goal for the team that isn't just last man standing. The game has the ultimate formula for success, and the development team is doing everything right, as far as we can see from the trailers and other information. Now, the true test for success will be if they can quickly port the game to every compatible platform known to man. At that point, I expect Wildgate to be a worldwide phenomenon. I hope you learned something today, and please check out this next video.